Bienvenidos todos and welcome to the Sigue Adelante podcast. I am here with Lidia Ambriz, who is pretty much the co-host of the show. She's been in, I want to say, like 4 episodes from this point.
Yeah, it's my fourth episode.
Yeah, the first one we did, you're talking about school, and then we did the soccer one, and then we talked about autism last week, autism awareness, and then now you are on for this podcast episode, which is kind of, we're going to kind of talk about like careers and our jobs and all of that. But with that in mind, how's work been for you? I know you've had a lot going on. Happy National Women's and Girls Sports Day.
Yay!
Or Women and Girls in Sports
Yes.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as we're recording this, it's Wednesday, February 7th.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's pretty big for you.
Yeah, it's my first Women's in Sports or Women's and Girls in Sports. So, a very exciting day, super fun. Work has been great. I love my job. I love what we do at San Diego FC. Right now, in the year of 2024, we had launched our Chrome Ball Tour.
Oh, what is that?
So we are taking, we have a Chrome Ball, and it has the 18 communities of San Diego in each different shape of the soccer, so each different side of the soccer ball. So within those 18 communities, we are hosting a free event.
Oh, wow.
For the public.
So there's going to be 18 events in total?
18 events this year. We just had our Oceanside event, our Escondido event, and then our next one is Poway. Mm-hmm. So we are very, very excited. So far, the turnout has been absolutely amazing. The cities are coming, doing incredible. The soccer tournaments are awesome. These children, the women, men's, boys, and girls are killing it. Like, there are some beast soccer players in San Diego. I'm always in awe just looking at them. We also are having like food vendors there, so local San Diego based food vendors. We all have our merch trucks as well, and we actually have an exclusive t-shirt for the 18 communities. So an artist from that specific community designs a logo for that community, and we have it in a t-shirt, and we sell limited quantities of them.
That's badass.
Yeah, the artists have been killing it. Like, these artists are incredible. There's so many more to come, and it's super exciting. But I'm so happy. I'm just like super happy to be in a position where I am supporting a community, being a part of the community. And every single time I'm at these events, I take a moment to step back and I just look at everyone and look what we're doing, and I just kind of want to like cry because it's just so beautiful to see all these people united for a team that is launching in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
it's going to be really big for the city, because I was there at the Oceanside one. Mm-hmm. I got there a little bit later, but it was still cool how much people were there. They had, there was like performances too that they did. They obviously had like the futsal game tournaments that they were doing, so that was cool. And then I didn't go to, it was Escondido was the second one, but I got a shirt, one of those special shirts, so I rock that one all the time. And then actually our friends from the Paleta bar, they were there too. They they killed it. It was a really good turnout for them, so we're glad to see that. We're proud of them.
Yeah, but I feel like it's so incredible because we're bringing out these small businesses, or there can even be large businesses, and just having them there because they are part of the community is awesome, because it's every little aspect of San Diego is brought out in this event. How did you feel being there?
I felt like it was fun. I thought all the people were very supportive of the culture that you guys are bringing. The energy was good. Even though, like, there's really no team or anything right now, it's just crazy to see how much people are going to actually like support, and when there actually is going to be a team, like it's crazy to see how much people are going to actually be there come what 2025 the first season. So yeah, I think this event is good to just bring more awareness and then give back to the community, and then I'm sure it'll replicate towards them giving that same energy towards the team and showing their support.
Yes, San Diego is definitely showing out. And all these two, well, Oceanside and Escondido, the two that we've been to so far, like they are showing out. And we feel your guys' energy, and it's so awesome.
They're even skating too there too.
Yeah, we did have skate
they have a
mafia.
What is the tournament that like for this?
So for Escondido, it was cash for tricks. So they did tricks, and then they got cash.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
like
so,
best trick competition.
Yeah, and they were just skating.
Street flow Street flow was from the jerseys from the first event. No?
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So Street flow was the event that we had last year, and it was skate, art, and soccer, or soccer, skate, and art. So it was kind of similar to that sense at the Escondido event, where we had that skate component, we have that art component with our artists, and then we have soccer, of course. So it was very similar to street flow, but every time I look at skaters, I think it's super cool. Like they're so legit.
I think it's good that you guys are like kind of incorporating the skating aspect of it too, because I used to skate when I was in high school, middle school, and skating is so fun, but a lot of times the skaters kind of they get like a bad reputation per se, and I mean it's not really the case. Skateboarding is not a crime. They're just out there having fun, doing all these crazy tricks, but the skating community is just as big too. They show out, so getting their support towards the soccer team, and then the soccer team giving them like a platform is going to really, be big.
Yeah, it was super cool because I worked in the skate community before, so it was cool seeing my two lives collide. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally getting flashbacks of when I would do skate content before. So I'm like, oh, this is super cool. No, they were really cool. They were legit. And then they had San Diego FC merch. But the way that they styled it was so cool. Like you have to go on our Instagram and just look at the photos, and that was super cool.
Yeah, definitely check out San Diego FC at San Diego FC on Instagram. What else do you guys have?
We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn.
Yeah, go check them out. A lot of the content is not made by you. It's made by like the media team and all that. Yeah. But you guys are the one that kind of structure it, and then you make some posts as well too.
Yeah. So I just do the social media marketing for it.
So yeah, definitely go check them out. But San Diego FC clearly wasn't your first job.
It was not.
You've been through a couple of them. How many previous jobs have you had before? It's like 4 or 5 of them?
Oh, let me count this. Okay.
So
1, 2.
Play-Doh.
So Play-Doh's my first job. I worked for a water filtration company, and then I did a freelance work throughout that, and then Tilly's. And now Manscaped. Oh my gosh, Manscaped, and now San Diego FC.
Yeah. So how was?
And then the freelance jobs were a lot too. So like, I did freelance for a restaurant, a bar, a nightclub, law firm. So
you do all the you do. I mean, technically, you still have a freelance job because you do all the creative stuff for the podcast too. You help pretty much make the like the transitions for the videos, all the every time we have a new episode, she has like some cool background that she'll do that we put on Spotify and Instagram, so you do all that stuff too.
Yep. Adelante is one of them. That is still one for sure.
Because I want to say I've had about the same, like 4, 5 jobs. When did you have
Well, let's
your
start your
first job?
jobs.
I've worked. Well, we'll go like one by one. No,
Yeah, but I list out mine right
I
now.
worked at Pokeport, Friar Tuck's. I worked at Lexus, and then I worked.
All Star.
All Star. I forgot about that completely. Oh shit, I forgot
Physical
it.
therapy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
worked at All Star Physical Therapy, and then now with residential fire.
Mm-hmm.
So well, I think we've had the same amount of jobs pretty much.
Dang. And then your podcast.
And then the podcast too. But how was your first job? When did you first start? Were you in what high school?
Yeah, so I started my first job my senior year of high school. I was very persistent on getting a job. I just wanted one. So I really don't know how I found Plato's Closet. I try to think like what brought me to it, but I applied and then it was just like, you know, when like you first start working or first start interviewing, you get that little like anxious, like the butterflies in your stomach. So that was like my first and actually no, I had like mock interviews in high school, so I felt a little more prepared. But the first job was nerve-wracking, and Plato's was an experience.
That was. How long did you work there for?
I think almost 3 years.
And were you full time, part time, or part time and then full time?
Yeah, so I started off as sales associate. So I was part time, and then I was really into the fashion industry, still am. So I would always put my all into Plato's. So from there, I was at the opportunity where so Plato's is, I didn't even explain what Plato's Closet is. Plato's Closet is a consignment store. So what you could do is go ahead and sell your clothes to them. They resell it. They give you cash on spot and then they resell it. Their demographic is primarily like teens and young men and women. So that's where we would purchase the clothes from the individuals who'd come in and just sell it. Similar to a thrift store, but you get paid for the clothes that you bring in that we purchase. So I started off as a sales associate. For there, I had the opportunity to be a buyer, which an individual gets trained to be able to choose the clothes that we have in the store. At that time, I wanted to be a buyer for a large-scale retail company, so
Sense.
it was a good opportunity for me to just test the waters and see what that calls for. From there, I had the opportunity to work on their social media.
I remember that.
Yes. So that's when I knew I love social media and doing that for work. So I was able to be one of their assistant managers who primarily did their social media marketing. I also had a stylist job there where I would offer people to come in and be a personal shopper for them.
Wow.
So I styled people. Yeah, it was my first job, so I literally gave it my all. Did so much there, but I stopped working there around COVID time.
Around COVID time.
Yeah, like right before or during the peak of COVID. That is when I decided to leave for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your first job? What was your first job?
My first job was I worked at Pokeport, which is if you haven't had poke, it's like a little poke, not like fast food, but like kind of like a fast food, little quick restaurant.
I would say like a fast a sushi bowl.
Poke bowl, but a poke bowl is pretty much like sushi, but broken down into a bowl. And then they also did. I actually learned how to make sushi there too. We would just make sushi just for fun to eat it in the back.
You still haven't made me sushi yet.
Oh, we have to do a sushi night with our friends one day, so hopefully they will join us on that. But yeah, I was just making poke bowls. It was part-time. I started when I think my senior year of high school too.
Twins.
Yeah. And then I actually was a customer there. I would go there, and my brother-in-law Marcus, when he was kind of just talking to the workers, just you know how Marcus is. He
Yeah.
always will like converse with everybody, and then he just randomly asked him, he's like, "You guys need a worker?" And then I was with him, and they're like, "Yeah." And then he was able to get me like
No
an
way.
application and an interview,
That's fun. That's a good
and
one.
literally like a couple days after, so there was two locations at the time, and then eventually they made more, but there was two. So I went to the other location. I did an interview,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally got hired on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Dang.
like
Okay,
it was
okay.
literally like a 15-minute interview. They were just like asking about, because at the same time I was going to obviously high school, and then so like, what's your like schedule like, and then that's pretty much all they asked. They're like, what's your schedule and what's your availability, and then I told them, and they're like, okay, you're hired. So I was there for maybe about a year, I think, and it was a good experience. I definitely do not recommend working in the food industry unless like you want to be like a chef, or like that's like your, that's what you like to do. But the food industry, like kind of like fast food restaurant, it's a little bit you deal with some interesting customers sometimes, and then there's that like saying like, oh, the customer is always right, and sometimes they really aren't, and then you
Yeah.
have to deal with some like weird situations and that. But for the most part, it's a good experience, like learning how to work with all types of people, and then I made a lot of friends there too. A lot of friends that I still talk to today, and it was just like a good kind of like customer, like working with customers and having that customer
Experience.
experience. I think was what I really gained from that.
I feel like your first job is going to be an experience, I would say. You're going to have to deal with that customer's always right aspect. And I like the point that you brought up. Like, if you want to go in the food industry, it's good to try to have your first job be the food industry. For me, I wanted to go into fashion, so I really wanted my first job to be retail.
Mhm.
But if you do want a first job and you just want a customer experience, then just apply everywhere. I'd say like just
Because I
I don't
just
know.
wanted like money at that. Like I
Yeah, I
was
mean
just like
you're
in high school, yeah,
17.
17. So I did that, and then after that, I left to work, kind of like what you were doing, like
So this is your second job now.
second job.
Mm-hmm.
I was a stylist at Friar Tuck Shop.
Oh, you were a
So I was
stylist.
I was literally, that was my label, stylist. And Friar Tuck Shop is like a mostly like a rental tuxedo and suit shop where you pick your coat, your shirt, your pants, shoes, or even if you just need like a coat and pants or
Mm-hmm.
something, you could get that. Well, they'll size you up, get all your measurements, and then you can rent it for like a fraction of the cost of actually
Mm-hmm.
buying a suit. Because sometimes people don't want to just buy the suit;
Mm-hmm.
they'll just like get one event, so they need a suit or something like that, and then sometimes they would buy it, so they did offer you can buy. But it was big during prom season. That was the spot. I went there twice because I went to prom twice during high school. So I went there. The prom season, there's like freaking. So I think because it's like in Temecula, and then there's Temecula, Marietta, Wildomar, like Lake Elsinore, um, even like Temescal area. They all kind of would go there.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like different waves. So I think their proms would sometimes they would kind of like overlap one another, be the same time, but sometimes it'd be like 1 week and then another week and another week, and you get like thousands of kids going in
Damn.
there, and you have to be like that. You're like, oh, you're like, all right, what do you want? Boom, measure them, boom, and then you just type it in, put it in the computer, send it off, and then it gets there like if, as quick as a day sometimes. if it's like really rushed, but usually it's like a couple days. But
Would you consider this job still your beginner
I would
job?
say yeah, because I was already in college.
Oh,
So when I started Pokeport, it was like the end of my high school, start of college. So it was like my first semester, and then now I was going to like my second semester of college. So that's kind of like where I was at. I was still like not full time, but I was like working there and then going to school. But it was a little bit different for sure, going from like food to then sales kind of.
you tell.
Because a lot of times people actually like they knew it like they wanted to just like helping them out, but then sometimes like you kind of have to try to sell them something in certain occasions, and then yeah, I've done a couple wedding coordinations too, low key, yeah, help like style like the whole wedding and all that,
And
and then
then were your responsibilities like similar? Because I know at Pokeport you did get you had a good title, right? Like you,
yeah, but I mean, they only paid you like a quarter more.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just at Pokepart. I was just at the end. I was like making like schedules,
Mm-hmm.
and then like doing like the hours of everybody. Seeing when they can't work and just all that stuff.
So do you think you had more responsibilities in your work in Pokeport or in Fire?
Um, more responsibilities with the team
Mm-hmm.
at Pokeport, but more responsibilities individually at Friar Tuck's, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I had to do like I mean Pokeport is pretty simple. Like you're just making like they tell you, oh you do this, pour it, and then like
Mm-hmm.
it's like pretty like common sense. But then with so that's why I'm saying like I had to work with the team
Mm-hmm.
like, and then with Fire it's kind of like by yourself.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like you were like one on one with the customer, and it was like you were explaining like there's like millions of things, different suits, different shirts, and all that you can explain, the materials and all that. So
It's a lot.
yeah, so it was like a same like responsibilities, but different like levels
Mm-hmm.
of responsibilities. That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
And what was your second job was
I worked for a water filtration
Aquamor?
company. Yep. I wanted to like I always would call quote unquote my big girl job. Like I wanted to um, have the experience of working in the office. At this time, I was about to graduate. It was actually during COVID time, but in the water industry, they still work because it's a very important job. So I was in my like last year or last quarter actually. No, it was about my last year of getting my associate's degree. So I actually still worked full time. I was their marketing assistant.
Okay.
So it was super fun. I did a lot of helping them create like labels, customer. I was actually marketing customer service assistant because I did a lot of customer service calls. A lot of elderly needed to know how to install a
You give directions.
water filter. Yeah. So I had a lot of like patience in that sense. I would talk to a lot of people on the phone. I like to be creative in the labels, assist in instructions, other marketing aspects. So it was primarily like I know this is not the right verbiage, but it's a very old school marketing where it's like paper marketing. So I did enjoy it and I really liked it and the atmosphere there was awesome and it was my first office job and since it was a manufacturer company, there was the manufacturer, the people who would help with the line and they're awesome. Everyone was super sweet. Like there's a lot of Filipinos and Latinos and I really liked it. So I felt like that was my stepping stone job into getting into like that office big girl job aspect. So like it was like my first assistant gig. And also I thanked them because they did work with my schedule when I did have a class. Even like I would still do full time and somehow I'd make it work. But during COVID, we did have like a lot of online courses.
Oh, okay.
So thank goodness everything was super good. But that was my second job.
Dang, how long were you there for? About
Almost
a
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, almost 2 years. It was
Really?
like a year and like honestly, I think if I would have been there one more month, it would have been 2 years. So it was like a year and 11 months.
Oh, dang.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like I learned so much there because they also like gave me the project of helping them amplify their website. So I would give them ideas on that. They really gave me the opportunity to learn so much, but also like had trust in me even at such a young age. Because I probably was just I wasn't even 21 yet. I think
No.
no, I was probably 20. We're about to turn 21.
Mm.
So yeah, like being super young and doing that was awesome. Like it was for sure my stepping stone job into what more I can do. And I also enjoyed it because it was not even like clothing, but I can tell like I could still enjoy marketing even if it's not retail clothing, but also it did teach me that I don't like paper marketing.
Yeah, it was not as modern.
Yes.
Or it was, yeah, it was not as
Yeah,
modern.
I mean,
For,
I really love digital marketing. I love the online atmosphere, like the whole new innovative marketing. So, as much as I liked it and I loved it, I did know that that wasn't specifically the job title I wanted or the industry that I wanted to get into.
okay, it was like I feel like a couple of these like first jobs kind of like teach you a little bit more. Like you take something from each one of them, like what you do want, what you don't want, and you'll learn something here, and then you'll learn a little bit of something there, and then you just take it forward for like the rest of your career. And then that's the thing with like work nowadays, that it's not how it used to be way back in the day, where you would, a lot of times people would go to high school, and then if they didn't go to college, they would work somewhere, and then they work there for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and then they just slowly like go up. And then sometimes, they would go to college too, and then after doing college, and they'll do the same thing, stick with one company. But now it's kind of the normal to, be at a company for a little bit, and then, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that you leave for a bad reason. Sometimes it's just not the right fit for you, or sometimes, you
want to grow.
you want to grow, you feel like your quality of work and your expertise is more than what they can offer you, and then sometimes you have to go somewhere else where they can do that.
You want to try a different.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's like you get bored of it, you realize, this is not for me. I know that's kind of like with the second one at the tuck shop. I was there for I think like half a year, and then I was like, oh, I don't really like doing this, and because it was pretty slow, to be honest. There was a lot of like downtime. There was like you just kind of be waiting there, and I like to like be someone that's like not constantly doing something, but like have something always like in front of me. So my next job after that, um, I worked at where I work now with a residential fire before. I'll just talk about it later once I get to now. But I didn't leave like because I wanted to leave. I leave because I fucked up my shoulder, so I couldn't physically work there. I had worked was a residential fire after the tuck shop for like half a year, messed up my shoulder, and then I went to physical therapy after my surgery, and then I became friends with everybody that was.
They loved you
that.
there.
Yeah, I was like MVP patient. I remember whenever I'd go there, I was like serious. I put my headphones in, and I'm like, my physical therapy session was like an hour and a half. I would go through like 3 different waves of people by the time I was gone. So I was there.
Yeah, you were there for a while.
I was like, whatever you got, throw at me, I'll do it. And then, actually, in the meantime of that too, I was getting like more into working out, so I was doing like personal training.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, I was doing like personal training, and then you actually went to All Star, and then you were telling them about that too, and that's how I got the job because you were telling them that I was doing personal training,
Oh my
and
gosh,
then
I forgot about
yeah,
that. Yes.
and then so then they were like, oh well, we need like a physical therapist aide. So then we like connected, and I went for an interview, and then they really liked me, and then they brought me on, and then I was working in physical therapy for like a year.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
just remember always going because I did go to physical therapy twice, and I was just, oh, that's Susie's girlfriend.
yeah.
They knew me by Susie's girlfriend. I was like, yeah, that's me.
So it was like food, sales, and what would you say? That was it?
Styling.
Sales and styling, to then like like a little bit more like medical-ish kind of doctor's office style, and it was really fun working there. I had patients that I would work with, and they would be there for usually a couple weeks, couple months. So they would have, their certain schedule when they come during the week, and then it was really cool to something just randomly moved over there.
That scared me. Sorry, guys.
It was really cool to work with, different individuals and different personalities. It was a little bit different from where, like, I said you work with customers in the food, whereas these people, you're giving them something. You're like,
Acts of service.
yeah, you're helping them. They're going through pain. They have injuries. A lot of times they're like at low points in their life because like they had an ACL surgery. They're not able to walk for months and all that stuff. So it was cool to interact with those people. You know, you would remember their names. You would ask them about their family, what they do, and all that, and you would build relationships. So I think that helped me learn how to like build relationships with people that you really don't know. And then it was cool because I'd have like patients that were, like I've had patients that were like 4 or 5 years old, like
Wow.
little kids. And then
I didn't know that.
I've had patients that are like 80, 90 years old. And then, so talking to those wide variety of age groups is like, it's really cool because then 1 hour you're like a little kid, and then you're like with a young adult, and then you're like an elderly person, and then the conversations kind of shift, so it gives you different perspectives. And then I would always, like, I would always do the stuff with whatever the patient was doing. So like they're doing like an exercise, I'll do it with them too. So that was fun, and yeah, I was really good at like interacting with people like on a more personal level. Is what I liked about All Star. Um, there was nothing wrong with All Star. I just had other plans, so that was kind of just something that I did in the meantime. But I definitely took a lot from All Star and
Yeah.
working in physical therapy, and then it was good experience. I feel like every job that I worked at, I've made like a lifelong friend too.
You really have?
I have like lifelong friends from Pokeport. Um, couple friends that I met, at the tuck shop. My brother-in-law, Scotty, worked there too. So I was working with Scotty for like a week. It was like his last week. And then my friend Rami too from All Star, and then a couple other guys and girls from there too. So yeah, I feel like every job is like you meet people too, and
Yeah, you build relationships. I mean, when you're outside of school, you learn to build relationships outside of that, and a lot of times you have your work besties that come out of it, and then when you leave, they become your like real life besties.
And then my friend Rami, that is one of my good friends. He used to be an aide with me. We're the Range Brothers. That's what we call each other. He's actually going to, he kept going with it because that was the field that he liked. So shout out to Rami. I know he's in school right now. He's in physical therapy school, so he's been busy with that. But we got to get a lift in whenever you can. So yeah, shout out to Remy.
Yeah.
And then your third job was.
My third job, I think like during my beginning of my bachelor's degree, I did a lot of freelance work. So a lot of, I'm lucky that my family are small business owners. So my uncle's business, Traviesos Antro, I was able to do some freelance work for them in social media. My parents, Michelada Factory, um, social media for them, and then they also allowed me to start. People would start asking like, who does it for you? Who does it for you? So then they started recommending me to them, and then I just did a couple other businesses, whether it was helping them with their website or social media themselves, creating content. I was going into that. I was doing that for a while, so I was doing full-time school, that, and yeah, and then after for a while, I was like, you know what, like,
I think a lot of people during COVID kind of had like that.
make your business.
Yeah, they were like kind of like doing like their like not side hustle, but like, you know, kind of experiencing like their own little like,
Entrepreneurship.
yeah, they were doing like their own little businesses, their own little side thing. Because like you said, you were doing like a little bit more freelance during then. I was doing like personal training during then. So I think COVID really kind of changed a lot of dynamic of the how the workforce is and all that, because well, this kind of like bleeds into your next job, which is kind of like, it was like during kind of after COVID, was when really hybrid work became like, you know, a big thing. A lot of people realized like we can do the same work and not have to physically be there, and be just as productive, if not more productive. And it's kind of unnecessary to be there in person.
Yeah.
So that concept really, like, you know, changed how it is now, because now most of the jobs, a lot of people prefer, you know, hybrid jobs or
Remote.
completely remote jobs.
Person now.
So yeah, ever since COVID, you know, the work has changed for sure.
Really has.
Because Tilly's was always fully in person?
No, it's hybrid.
Hybrid?
So while doing freelance, that's technically like I've been doing it and I still do it, but that's when I start merging into getting into my senior year, my last year of my bachelor's degree, and that's when I gave myself a deadline to get my my first social media job in the industry of like the office job rather than just doing freelancing. My mindset was actually to build my own business, but then I was like, okay, in order to do that, I need to have more experience and see what it is like in a large scale company. So I started applying for a bunch of jobs, and I wanted a hybrid job because I was mostly remote. All my bachelor's degree, other than my last semester, in which I was going in like Fridays, every other Fridays. I was driving to LA, so I was like, no, like I really want a hybrid job or a fully remote job. So Tilly's was one of them. I was lucky with the opportunity to work for Tilly's headquarters. I was their social media assistant. Shout out to Karina because we're still friends from there. She was the social media coordinator.
Oh yeah.
So she blessed me with the opportunity to have that while still in school. And it was super cool because I was still in school. My experience was mostly freelancing and Plato's in social media marketing. I did have a portfolio, which I was able to showcase my work with that. So I was there, and I feel like that was my official first big job in the industry that I wanted to get into. Social media marketing. So it was super fun. I learned so much. I did help with content creation, scheduling, captioning, help reporting data. During my time there, we started live shopping. So that was primarily my project. So I was the host, the planner.
You do Instagram lives and all that?
It was actually website lives.
Website lives?
Yeah,
Oh.
so it was directed to the website, and I would do lives and just talk about the product, show the product, and yeah, so that was my big project.
So you're pretty much doing like this, but live.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So a
I
lot
would
of
watch
times,
it all the time. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we would give away free products, and I'm like, Tilly's has some awesome stuff. Um, so yeah, that was my hybrid schedule. I would be 3 days at home, 2 days in the office. It was a commute, but nothing that I'm not used to. I would commute to LA, so I tend to have a commuter lifestyle. But yeah, that was like my big
Because before
job.
that, you were kind, like just dipping your toes in,
Yeah,
but then that was like, this is the industry I want to do. This is the industry I want to work in. So now you're like going in
yeah.
like more.
I really have the mindset too that, I mean, I went to FITM, of course, I love fashion, but there is 3 industries that I always wanted to try and get into, which was fashion, beauty slash self-care, and sports. Those were the 3 industries that I love, I have a passion for, that I want to try, always wanted to try. So Tilly's was that retail. When I was there, I love fashion, but at some point, um, I want to grow. Like have like a very big mindset that I want to grow in my job position. I'm very goal orientated. So I was there for 2 years, about 2 years, and that's when I was like, you know what? I want to grow. I feel like my work showcased that I had the opportunity to be a coordinator. I had my bachelor's degree finally. I believed in myself, and I showcased to myself that like I have the capabilities to grow in my job positioning. So I took a risk and started applying for other jobs.
I think that's the thing too with a lot of these places. Like not to like bag on any of these places, but sometimes they kind of have this more like old school kind of way where they feel like, you know, people you can kind of just replace them. And, like they'll like come and go. Like they don't really like. There's a lot of places where you can't really grow as much. Where it's kind of like you get like this one spot and then you're kind of stuck there, and they don't really give you the opportunity for growing as somebody like as an employee. Like you can't get like higher titles, you can't get higher pay. It's kind of like there's like a lot of dead end kind of jobs, and a lot of these like companies, like they're like, okay, well this person leaves, I could just hire somebody else to do this.
Some companies, I feel like they work in a time frame. So like sometimes you have to be there X time of years to actually grow in your position. Some companies actually look at your work and see what you can do, and then offer you a better job title, and then some companies just wait for you. So I did learn that, like with my going to different career paths, like that Tilly's just wasn't for me personally, because I wanted to grow in social media marketing, and unfortunately they couldn't offer me that opportunity, understandably. I appreciate them, and it was an amazing experience, but you have to think about yourself, and if you want to grow and that's the industry you want to go into, so like take the risk and show what you're worth, and find it somewhere else.
I think that's probably one of the big takeaways of this episode is not being afraid to leave your job or your wherever you're at, and trying, there's somewhere else that will definitely give you a better opportunity, a better environment. Sometimes a lot of these environments aren't the best, and you don't have to put up with this nowadays. Like it's not how it used to be. Loyalty to a company doesn't get you, like it doesn't guarantee that you will continue to grow and succeed compared to how it was back in the day. Because back in the day, like if you were loyal to a company, you would stay there for X amount of years, like you said, you would grow. But now, like being loyal to a company, staying there for a couple of years doesn't guarantee that you will advance. And I think nowadays the way to advance really is sometimes leaving your job and going to another one. And then sometimes, you have to go from another one to another one, even if it's like a good relationship, good environment. It's just sometimes they're not able to provide the opportunity for you to, take your career to the next level. You know, sometimes like your skills, you gotta keep improving your skills. You gotta, as you work more, you get better at what you do. So sometimes, you gotta go somewhere that challenges you, somewhere that appreciates you, somewhere that gives you like the platform to just get better every day and grow as a person. And
Yeah. And it's not gonna be easy. Like you take that risk, and I'm like, dude, there'd be moments where I'm like crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so scary. Like I don't want to leave, but like this is a cool opportunity. I don't want to miss the opportunity. So like, let me try it. I'm very much a loyal. I am a loyal person. So like, it's like scary because like you're there for an X amount of time. You give it your all, and then you're like, oh shoot, like I'm thinking of leaving. Like it's scary. Like, so if you're getting that scary feeling, don't think you're wrong or doing the wrong thing. It's just like you're taking a risk, and taking a risk is not going to be easy. And you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations sometimes to get to where you want to be. And I put myself in a lot of uncomfortable situations, and like making a switch into a different company or a different industry because I wanted to challenge myself. And that's the best way for me personally, was to challenge myself, was to start switching into going to another job and having the opportunity to be a little more challenged.
and then you because a lot of times like it's not really straight out of high school, straight out of college. This is like exactly what I'm gonna do. Sometimes people like, yeah, they get the job that they want and they can stay there forever.
Yeah.
But sometimes you kind of, especially like, I think that's why it's good to kind of start working in high school, like to at least get your first job. That way you get experience, and then you work while you're in school too, and then you kind of learn here something, you learn something from there, you kind of see what, like I think I said it earlier, but like it's really important to see what you like and see what you don't like. And then it kind of all builds up for later down in the path, and you're like, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do and what I want to go for. And then it kind of, because a lot of times people will work jobs and they're not really happy. So it's like, really just kind of challenge yourself and find what you like to do. That's really like the important thing.
Yeah, it's your experience is not going to be the same as the experience of the person next to you's experience. And then all industries are different too. Like your work industries are completely different than mine. I just happen to be in the social media industry. So yeah, take that risk, test different things. Don't be afraid to try different industries, because I went from water filter to clothing retail to Manscaped men's grooming products.
Well, that's what I said. We haven't even gotten into Manscaped yet. We still have other ones to do, because after All Star is when I started working at the dealer. I started working at Temecula Valley Lexus. I was a valet there, and I was probably, I would say like 2 months after they did their grand opening is when I got hired. And I was probably like the quickest tenured employee, or lowest. I worked there, I think like 4, 5 months. It was cool. Like the people, like I loved all the people that I worked with. I made a lot of friends that I still talk to, hang out to this day. But I think that was the job that was kind of like that, like humbling experience that kind of like not like gets you mad, but it's like, fuck this shit. Like I don't want to like work this kind of, because the car and just like the car industry in itself is like a completely different beast. Like it would be very boring, to be honest, like working there, because a lot of times dealerships are kind of empty, and then you would kind of find yourself just kind of like feel like you're wasting your time. You're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm just like those. It was one of those jobs where I was just staring at the clock, like waiting for, like, you know, the end of the day to leave. And once I realized that, then I was like, no, I don't want to do this, because I know a lot of people too. They have jobs that they've been at or they're currently at, and they're like just staring at the clock, waiting to go home, and that's not what I wanted to do. And that like kind of was like frustrating for me. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Like, there's nothing for me. And then there's a little revolution after that. A couple of us, after I left, a couple of the homies left, because yeah, that was probably like the more like frustrating, humbling jobs that I've had, because I was like, do not like this, I do not feel appreciated, I don't want to be here.
Sorry you felt that way.
That's okay. I think everybody kind of needs that experience too. The rain is going crazy right now with the wind. But yeah, I think everybody needs that experience where
It's a learning lesson.
they kind of, you know, they learn what, and it kind of gives you that fire inside of you to want to, you know, do something better, you know, kind of prove someone or something wrong, and, you know, do more.
Give you that fire inside of you.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, you know, made a lot of good friends there, so that was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like good that you tried it, and if like, imagine if you, like, 5 years from now you didn't try it, and then you're like, oh damn, I wish I tried it now, but I'm like, no, it's too late. I felt like we're at an age that we're so young that we were able to try different things and take that risk. And if you're in a situation financially or in a life that you're able to try different things and take that risk, and you have that support from others, it's scary, but it's good.
Even if you're not young too, you can.
Yeah.
It's never
Yeah,
too late or too early to, you know, make changes and challenge yourself. You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta sometimes, like you said, taking that risk is scary, but you gotta do it. Because if not, then you're gonna end up, you know, just unhappy, unmotivated, and then like it'll take a toll on your mental, physical
Oh my
health,
gosh,
and
yes.
all your
When you're not
well-being.
happy, oh my gosh, yes. If you're not happy at work, oh my gosh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's true. If we don't live to work, we work to live.
Exactly.
Period.
I mean, yeah. So then, after your Tilly's, you went to Manscaped. We talked about we had we had a little episode about. So when we were doing that Manscaped episode, that's when you were in transition of going from Manscaped to Tilly, or not to Tilly, from Manscaped to San Diego SC.
But nobody knew.
And we were like, ugh. Like, we had the episode already planned, and then we were like, well, we don't want to talk about it. It's a surprise. And then we had the San Diego FC episode.
Well, I didn't even know. Like, okay, it's a whole story. But I saw that Manscaped was hiring, and I kind of was looking for a fully remote job. I knew about Manscaped because of you, Caesar. Yeah, him. So I learned about them because of that, and then I found out, I'm like, oh, they're actually located in Mira Mesa, like their headquarters in Mira Mesa, which is not far from here. I would still be remote, but I'm like, oh, there's a San Diego-based company being so big, like, that's awesome. So I was like, let me just apply. Like, I'll see what happens. It was a social media. I forgot what the title was. I swear, like, this was just like a couple months ago, but I felt like it was like 3 years ago.
Oh shit!
Like, this is crazy how, like, when you brought that up, my mind's just swirling right now. That I'm in awe that I can't believe that was just last year. Sorry. So I forget what the title was, but
social media marketing assistant?
No, it was like social media was an assistant, but it was associate.
Specialist.
No, associate, and then I got promoted.
Okay.
So I was social media associate, but fully remote. I applied, got those interviews. That environment, I love Manscaped. Like, people there are freaking awesome. Like, I talked about balls for a living, and it was rogue. It was definitely an experience. Like, now I'm comfortable saying that. Before I was like, ooh, like sometimes you'd walk into the room and he's like, what the heck are you working on? Because I would create memes.
I know. I would see your freaking Instagram and your Twitter, and I'd be like, what the hell are you looking at?
I would just make ball jokes, like ball jokes for a living, memes for living, memes. It was a fun experience. Like, it was just funny. Being remote was an experience too, because like everyone's remote, but like our work dynamic was very positive. I'm still connected to some of my coworkers that I had before. Yeah, I like was there for almost 2 years. Actually, like couple months in, I was they actually promoted me to social media specialist. That was awesome because they are a company that really looks at your work ethic, really looks at what you bring to the company, and they they're very motivated. That definitely was an opportunity in a place that I knew I could grow at, because they showcased that not only to me but to all the other employees. It was super awesome, super fun. It was very similar to Tilly's in the sense of my job duties, but instead it was just had a different demographic.
Different market.
Yes, different market. I wasn't that girly tone of voice anymore. I was that male dominant tone of voice. Like, no one knew that there was a girl behind the scene. No one knew that it was a woman creating that meme content. Like, I really honed into that social media persona that we had there.
I had some ideas that I helped
Yes,
with too.
yeah. And sometimes I would be like, how is this? And then sometimes I would be too embarrassed for him to even like read my stuff, so I would just post it, and then like if he ever saw it or if he ever knew it was me or not, then it's fine. But it was super it was super cool, super funny.
I got a lot of free products too.
Yes, a lot of like free products.
I was part of a commercial on TikTok.
On TikTok, yeah, you gotta do a video. So like, and at Manscaped, we were the ones making the content and filming the content, so I'd be in the room taking videos of myself.
Literally, like right here, I think in this chair.
Yeah, and of course we need products for that. So it was super cool. I adore Manscaped. I adore everyone that worked there. They showed me how it is to be valued in a company from everyone. They showed me how a company's atmosphere should be very positive. I feel like they're a very modern company in the way that they have everything aligned and set. So I was like, okay, like Tilly's has been around for so long. Manscaped was a fairly new company. Like, I wouldn't consider them a startup company, but they were brand new. Like, they were fairly new. So I'm like, well, like they're
within their first 5 years.
Yeah, so it was very different, but also it was super cool to see like the different atmosphere another company could bring out. So that was my learning lesson from that specific business.
That you kind of like the more modern style, and then that's good. It's like sometimes like it's kind of just like a younger environment. You know what I mean? Like, you get like a little bit more younger people, so you get more innovative, modern, like not just like ideas and products and stuff, but just like environments. You know what I mean? Like, you can like play around a little, like not like play around, but like I know you would have like a lot of fun, like hanging out with everyone. You would do like these commercial things with these inflatables, and
yes, we had a lot of funny content. I look at their socials, go back. I left in October. I left in beginning November maybe, or end of October. So about like last year. So that content there, like I did a lot of that content, and I am very happy about it. And it's like something I could look back at, and I'm like all positive and so much joy from it. But if you look back at it, it's really funny. But at Manscaped, we actually we had the opportunity, our social media was featured on Forbes as a innovative social media accounts to look at. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's super cool.
Yeah,
Like
you
it
guys are
just,
killing it.
it really like brought so much happiness to me because I'm like, no, like the work that we're doing, the work that I'm creating is awesome.
It's being
So
noticed.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that also gave me a big boost in like what I'm doing is good and I am good at it because sometimes you need that boost
No,
in
yeah.
what you do.
And like you said, like there was nothing like wrong with that place.
Yeah.
You loved it. You had a good time with the environment, but then
Sometimes
you
opportunities
just
come.
had this opportunity that you couldn't.
Say
It was
no
like you said, like you had your big three, like fashion, the beauty,
in
or
sports.
sports, and then you had the opportunity to go to sports, and you just couldn't resist.
Oh yeah, I was emotional whirlwind though. Like I for sure was crying and freaking out because I felt so like I just didn't know what to do because it was such a good opportunity and my mindset is always don't say no to an opportunity because you never know what it could bring to you and it was a huge risk that I had to take in my career path because I knew I loved manscape and I loved being there but I always wanted to get into sports, and I know how difficult that industry could be in, and I was lucky with the opportunity, and I was like, what the heck, like, let me do it. And around that time, we were getting into MLS a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would always go to games, so.
Yeah,
That
because
was
I
fun.
remember when you first kind of had the opportunity, you were like so not confused, but like you were like you didn't know what to do. You were
Yeah.
like, I have this opportunity, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be like. I don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because um, you've always kind of watched soccer here and there, but you've never like really been like um, a die heart. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like we were going to games, we were watching stuff, but it was something like a challenge for you, and like being a new team, you didn't know it. Nobody's gonna really know what to expect.
I had no idea what the sports industry would be like,
Hmm.
too. So I was like, that was scary.
And then I was like, I could just go for it. Like the
Yeah.
MLS is a big, not a huge league, but it's a big league that's just trending towards being like a ginormous league. Because I mean, they have Messi in the league now. They have all these other players that have played in Europe, played in like South America, all those like great countries. So now like slowly, coming into shape, being more popular. Like the fucking tickets to go see an Inter Miami game when Messi was playing was like $1,000
Wild.
at least $1,000. So you gotta hook it up with tickets when Messi comes to San Diego because it's gonna erupt when Messi comes to San Diego. I know when he was in LA, it was crazy. Every city, all the celebrities show up, so it's a good look for the league, because yeah,
It
I
was
think
worth the risk
it was
because I am very
definitely
happy.
yeah.
I'm very happy and super lucky and yeah, it's worth the risk sometimes. You just gotta risk it for the biscuit. But enough with me. Let's talk about your current job and where you're at now.
So so like I said earlier, I was working after the tuck shop. I went into this same job that I'm at right now, but I had to stop because I got
Injury.
hurt. So and it's like because it's a physically demanding job, so you gotta like move ladders, move material pipes, all that stuff, lift, carry. So I couldn't do it, so I didn't stop because I wanted to stop. I stopped because I couldn't stop, or I couldn't do the work. Um, but I talked about it in like previous podcasts before. I had like a whole podcast talking about it. But it's my dad's company. He has a fire suppression and prevention company. So pretty much what we do, we install, design, inspect, service, maintenance, whatever. That'd be mostly install residential fire, systems, like the fire sprinklers inside houses, businesses, warehouses, all that stuff. So it's fun because I get to work with my brother-in-law Marcus. We go to work together every day. Um, Back then, we used to kind of just install. So we would have, all our tools. We'd have our tool belt. We'd be. It's not like a messy job because luckily, you have a roof. It's when the house already has the framing, like plumbing and all that stuff is done, so you're not luckily out in the rain, or I mean they don't work in the rain, but we can work in the rain.
You have cover.
We have cover, so it's not like as bad as some of these other jobs that have to be like in like really bad weather and conditions. Because there's some guys that are like literally like in trenches when like the sun is beaming and all that, so like that's kind of sketchy and
Dang.
can't definitely would probably take a toll on your body. But we do a lot of ladder climbing. We climb up ladders. We work with CPVC, steel. Mostly CPVC is what we install with in like these residential houses, and just kind of like a little like summary of kind of like what a fire system is, because a lot of people are kind of confused. There's usually like for like a basic house, there's like a riser, and it's kind of like the brain of everything. So that's where you have to simplify, you have like a connection from underground, from the plumbing, and then that's what your water supply is. And then that connection will go. There's usually like a check valve or something that kind of just will control like how much water flow is in, and then you have like a drain, and then you have like a it's like a little reader, and it'll tell you how much psi you have. So obviously, like some places you don't want to have too much psi, and from there it kind of shoots up, and then the whole point of the system is everything is supposed to be connected to one. So that's kind of like the main component of it, and then everything will kind of branch out, and it's supposed to kind of loop around the whole house. And so each sprinkler has a certain like temperature or like K factor or whatever, and you have usually like inside the house is called like a concealed head, and then you put like a little like trim cover over it, a cover plate. So it kind of, I don't know if you ever like you're at your house and you see like these random like plates up in the ceiling. It's covering like the sprinkler. So the sprinklers, a lot of times people like they don't understand. They think like the sprinkler's just gonna randomly go off for no reason, and you see like movies and you see like when the sprinklers go off and like the whole house is like going crazy, but that's not really the case. It's wherever. So say there's a fire right here, and there's usually like sprinklers within like certain areas so that they cover like sometimes you can't cover every inch. There's like little shadow spaces, but most of the times you do cover like every inch. So within that vicinity, say like there's a fire and then the temperature reaches 100 and like fucking like 190 degrees, and boom, it'll set this one off, and then say it starts lingering like behind us, boom, it'll start setting the other one off. So it's not like if one sets off, the whole house, because that's what a lot of people think is like one will set off and then the whole house or building's gonna set off. And then so then you have certain places like laundry rooms where you have like you have dryers, and then those they build up heat. So then you use different type of heads with different temperatures that go in there. So that's kind of like a basic of like kind of what the systems are meant to do. And they're not really meant to save your house. I mean, they can, but the main thing is to create a passage for people to just safely get out. It's not meant to like save your stuff. It's meant to just save your life.
Wow.
So then that's when like so when these a lot of times too, when something goes off, then it triggers an alarm. And then usually like the electricians, we have like a little box that they'll wire into, and then a bell outside. Or if that's not the case, then just a simple trigger will kind of send a signal to the fire department, and then that'll get them to come over here too.
Super cool.
So
That's so much to it. And I feel like we haven't had that conversation about all of it. Super intriguing.
yeah, there's a lot of different types of, like, depending on the building, commercial, residential, there's different systems. So there's some are more complicated than others, but that's kind of just like your basic home one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they definitely save lives for sure. And right now, like I said, we don't do as much installing. Back then, I'm telling you, we still have like, you kind of get dirty, so we would wear like, like some raggedy kind of clothes, raggedy pants, and then you'd get glue, like the CPVC glue. It's pretty strong, so you don't really want to get that on you because it kind of like burns a little bit. But so yeah, you'd get clothes that you would be willing to like mess up. So I have a lot of like shirts and pants and sweaters that I can't wear because they have glue and they're all dirty and whatnot. Now we're kind of just, watching over guys, helping. There's like service requests that we do, like someone has like a leak in their house, or a lot of times it's fallen trim, and or we replace something, and then we'll help like install every now and then. Not so much, it's kind of just like managing guys and then kind of like looking over them. So yeah, it's fun. It's pretty. I get to be with like a lot of fun people, and they have like a little bit more freedom compared to like other jobs, because it's not like you have to be there this time and leave exactly at that time. Like some days we got to get there a little earlier. Some days it can be a little later, and then sometimes like this week it's been raining like crazy, so the job sites kind of slow down, and then sometimes it kind of slows us down too. We don't have that much to do. So then some days we get like a little bit more chiller. We got to be home earlier. So yeah, that's kind of like the concept of everything.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's fun. I want to say. So I had a job too, actually, before my first job. I wouldn't say, I don't know if it was like, I mean, I got paid for it, but I worked in the office.
Oh,
with
yeah.
my dad's company. I was in the office, kind of just doing like office stuff. But I was like 15 probably when I was doing that. It was kind of just like a summer thing.
Mm-hmm.
But same thing there too. I learned about that, and then I made a lot of friends and homies, and then I still talk to this day too.
Oh God, turned around, and you're there once again.
Oh yeah, but
That's
no,
awesome.
I like it too because you get it's like a physically demanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to be like crazy in shape or anything, but it's definitely like you're lifting a lot of heavy stuff. You're moving ladders. You're climbing up ladders, and sometimes you got to be like in these crazy ass positions, like upside down, like your head's on the wall and you're trying to strap something. And yeah, it's fun. It's like something new every day with that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's currently what we do on the daily. And then yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I feel like we have we've been to a lot of different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We test different things, took risk. We saw what we're happy in and we're not happy with. We see what a right atmosphere is at a job, and it was all just an experience. It was all just life, but it gets you where you want to be.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a big journey, like working and going through the workforce. But you definitely, like we said, don't be afraid to try something new, to make a change. And it's never too late. It's never too early. Or if say you do like something, then go for it, do it. And, you'd be surprised at how many great experiences you have, and just how much you can learn, not just like about an industry or about yourself along the way. So just have fun with it, and be happy at the end of the day. That's all that matters. And I think
I feel like that's a really good way to live your life. In your career life specifically.
So that's probably going to be the end of this episode. I wonder how long we've been going for. I think like an hour and a half. But no, it's really good talk. Hopefully, this can inspire some people to, not think about like leaving or anything, but to, just think about like what they want in a career, and by working, and sometimes just getting different perspectives, and then we shared our stories with our jobs, and then kind of learning experiences, and just having fun. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for thank you guys, thank you for being on the podcast today. You'll probably be on it a lot now. It's really nice to have these kind of conversations, and hopefully it reaches out to you guys. And on the post an Instagram video, I'm gonna put a caption, be like, put your whatever jobs you've had, in the past, and that way we could see, what kind of jobs people have had, and then like their journey. So probably look out for that on the Instagram video for this coming podcast episode. You'd like to hear some feedback from you guys, like your journeys, what you're going through, and where you're going. But other than that, thank you guys, and as always, sigue adelante.